but I will also represent it and also share it later. Yes, finally the recording has already started. So let's go ahead to the presentation. I will try and hurry. So in case I'm very fast, kindly bear with me. I will try not to talk a lot from the presentation and share whatever I feel like it's very important so that we can leave some other conversations for the questions. Okay, so here goes the presentation. I can see quite a number of you have already jumped on it. So it's about growing your brand on social media, and also how can we tap into the content creation bit of it. So in this conversation, of course, I'll touch on the two that I've talked about, and also I'll share a little bit on brand identity and competitive positioning, because I think this is one of the things that actually help you to know how to brand yourself, to grow your brand, and also to create the content on social media. So in a nutshell, I usually understand brand identity as those things that actually represent you, be it visual or verbal elements. And the visual, of course, we know all of it, from the color, the logo, the typography, the fonts, and any other visuals that you're going to use on your social media, or even the offline, or even the billboards. And when it comes to the verbal elements and other elements like voice, tone, personality, and other things that I might not actually mention, these are some of them that actually support you to share your value better, other than just sharing over branded visuals. I usually say sometimes people get tired of content that is branded all the time, to a point that they just need some easy content that relates to their personality or to the tone they expect from your brand, or even from the way the market trends and the conversations are. So in terms of building a brand identity that is actually going to help us grow our businesses or our brands, and I'll point out this is not just a conversation about branding in terms of your personal brand. I'm looking at it from a business perspective, because I know so many of us are looking into working with companies as social media managers, as influencers, content creators, or in any other creative way we can collaborate with the brands. So this is how we are going to tap into the services, the values, the missions, the products they have, so that we can bring out a better way of representing them into the social media space. So at the end of the day, we want to build a brand that is recognizable from the way people see it, or even read some content around it, or even see their logo from far, or even in a t-shirt when somebody is wearing it. And something else we want to say to do is make people think about us all the time, maybe from how we represent our personality, from the way we are humorous, from the way we are cocky sometimes when it comes to conversations, which is important when it comes to a brand, because I believe a brand doesn't have to just be professional all the time, especially now that we have different social media platforms. You have to know on which platforms should I represent myself as super professional, on which platform should I actually be humorous, on which platform should I be playful, and all that. Something else is we want to be distinct, at the same time maintain our consistency in terms of personality, the message, the visual aesthetics, and everything that actually helps us to set ourselves apart from the competitors. And also at the end of the day, we want to eat into the competitors' audience. So why not? We have to build a brand identity that can actually tap into their audiences. So some of the questions and challenges I prepared for this particular conversation, I will send them. Someone is helping me out. I'm sending them into the chat section in case you want to chat, share some of the thoughts. It will be amazing. Think about any brands with strong brand identities. It can be a brand that just started. It doesn't have to always be the Coca-Cola, the Safaricoms. We have some smaller brands which are starting on the social media platforms that you can remember easily because of how they actually represent themselves and how they identify themselves in front of their audiences. So do you think that their strong brand identity contributes to their growth, and how? And of course, this is the question that we're going to answer as we continue the conversation. The best I can pick is Safaricom. Most of us know them. But if you have to look from a global scale, I'll point out Coca-Cola because that is a major platform that is known. But if we narrow it down to the regions that you're representing this business, we realize that you don't have to compete with the ones that everyone knows. We have to focus on the smaller ones that we actually want to let everyone know about. At the end of the day, focus on this. Communicate in a way that actually is going to help you provide and share the value that the brand represents. Okay. And I've added some notes on the, I can't see it right now, but I've added some notes on the document. So in case you can check them out, that's perfect. Those are some of the pointers that I would like you to ask yourself as we continue the conversation. So why care about a strong brand identity? Everyone wants to stand out. But everyone thinks standing out is just about the colors. Nowadays, social media has really changed the way people, I usually say social media has changed the way people look at branding. It's more of relatability, communication, conversation, quality, value, help, than just looking at the colors. You can have, nowadays you have 10 brands, 20 brands with the same colors, representing the different values they have. But the question is, how can you differentiate them more than just the colors? Okay, how can we be different from the competitors? How can we create trust and loyalty? And this is something that I usually say on social media works very well. And this is something smaller brands can actually use to compete with the large brands in the digital spaces, because you're building people from scratch, the following, you're sharing who you are, how you do your things, you're relating with them, you're communicating with them, you're having conversations, you're giving them a chance to actually respond, which is actually the best way to build that trust. And as somebody who's searching on social media as a personal brand, or even in a category you want to choose in the digital marketing space, please focus on building trust and loyalty. This is one thing that will help you build your thought leadership. As much as you might have very few followers, so many people will trust you because of how you relate with them and how you communicate and converse with them. At the end of the day, we want to bring out a sense of professionalism and expertise in a brand. A brand can be 1 year old, 6 months old, but the people in the brand have been in the space for over years. So can we actually use that to represent our expertise? We don't have to be 20 years old as a business brand for us to show our expertise and professionalism in that particular area. We can actually represent that through the people who are behind the brand. Okay. At the end of the day, we want people to perceive us the most valuable people in this space. So how do you do it? I have attached some links which we are going to take time, check on how we do them. This is actually one I've used different clients and different brands that we manage, so that I can help you understand every value when it comes to building now that brand growth on social media and how to package it. So authenticity, of course, is something that nowadays we don't negotiate about on social media. We need to share our real selves, our unfiltered side, our stories. How transparent are we? How can we be honest? How can we build this trust? Something else we have to factor in when building this growth on social media and the content itself is the innovation. We might not be innovative as a brand. Get this right. We might not be innovative as businesses, but whatever we have on our platforms as conversations, add-ons to what we represent, especially on the industry that we represent, adds into how people perceive us and identify us. A brand that supports innovation, a brand that knows what is happening, a brand which is up to date with the market or industry trends, merging technologies and everything. So can we package our content from that context? Sustainability. Right now, everyone talks about sustainability. And sustainability is in so many facets, So how are you presenting those conversations? I know in one way or the other, every business is affected on how they manage their wastes. Every business is affected on how they package their products. So have you factored in the sustainability and also the climate aspect of it? How are you tapping into the conversations? It doesn't have to be always like this and this is what we are doing, we as a business. Sometimes you have to step away from you as a business and look at the surrounding, the industry around you. What are people looking into learning? What do they want to tap into? What do you want to feed your audience from the point of value, knowledge, and help? The other things, and this is where some people usually wonder when it comes to a business perspective, what is value on social media? Value, yes, I know it's about the products and the services you add, something that you add into that product or service, but also value is the knowledge. That is the best way to actually offer additional value. Value added addition to audiences. They don't have to scroll through your timeline all the time to see your products. What other things can they get? Another value is community. And this is why I believe so many businesses who have tapped into community are growing very fast. For those who have never even had social media platforms, this is how I usually do it. When I open pages for brands who have never been on the social media platforms, that means we have 0 followers. Okay. And for me to be able to tap into the audiences, the growth, I have to look for communities. It can be spaces, it can be people who have huge conversations, people who do webinars, people who do lives on Instagram, on Facebook. I join using that particular brand account. And once I'm there, I might not speak, but I will ask questions. I will interact in the chat section. I will send out some of the points and opinions I have about different conversations or different questions that they have shared, at least to make sure that I'm seen. Another way to build the community before we even tap into that is after some time, you would have already built an audience of people who consume your content and people who actually consume your products and your services. Request for their testimonials. And that is why we create great relationships with them. But again, if the community hasn't expanded beyond the testimonials and our customers, we start with our team. And that is why employee advocacy is very important. It's very easy for a brand to grow if they factor in that their employees or their team can really help them to create content, to come up with ideas to share about their personalities on social media, and also to create their organic self-content. And that is how actually you can increase the aspect of authenticity on the digital platforms. Empowerment. How can you empower people? And I think I have already talked about this when I was talking about the value of authenticity and community. Can you educate people? Can you give people some help? Something else is quality. When it comes to quality, people wonder, how can I give quality? And I have this product which I already feel like it's quality. Okay. Beyond the product, how are you capturing the reviews? How can you show people that you are the brand before they can actually taste your product or make good use of your product or even experience your product? It's through the way you craft the attention, the way you control the video, from how you prepare the product. You don't have, of course, to share the ingredients and everything, but the behind the scenes are very important to also give quality, experience, and trust. And at the end of the day, through the trust and loyalty, people will think about sharing your product, sharing your content, and also talking about you and remembering you. From what we talked about brand identity, it's all about people remembering you, people identifying you as different, and people knowing that you are unique. This challenge will also be sent to the chat. I'll check them out once I'm done brushing through the presentation. So which of these qualities that I've already mentioned that you have used in the brands that you work with, or you have even used in your personal brand, how did it work? I'd like to know about that. And any other quality you feel like I haven't talked about. So how do you maintain and evolve your brand identity? You have identified yourself. You have thought about ways you're going to grow your brand. Don't mind them. We usually have these guys who do safari. Now these people have started to move around the house. Okay. How do you maintain your and evolve your brand identity? First thing you have to do is to monitor. Monitoring is all about listening. Monitoring is all about checking out your competitors. It's all about checking your sentiment. How do you people feel about you? Monitoring is all about actually looking out for people to ask them, about their honest opinion on what you're doing on your social media platforms. I find so many texts and questions on my DM. Sometimes on Twitter, people ask me, can you kindly check out on this page and let me know how you feel about it? Sometimes, yes, I get time for that. Sometimes you find that I'm too busy, but it's okay to look for people, as much as they're not experts, to give you their honest feel about the content you're putting out, and also to critique you, or rather criticize you, because that is the most important thing that can help you to grow businesses on digital platforms. Something, oh wow, something that really came out very well. How to maintain and evolve your brand identity to encourage growth. Of course, I've talked about monitoring, and monitoring is all about the checking out the perception, checking out the sentiments. And in the sentiments, I think the first conversation we ever had, I talked, pass the other way around. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had to share with you about SEMrush, which is a course I did. And through the course, I actually shared on how you can be able to check your social media page and how it's working, if be it for the businesses, and also how to do your competitor research, because that is how actually you'll be able to know which content works on your timeline, which content works for your competitors. Because at the end of the day, actually, if your competitors already have the numbers and you don't, it means the audience that you're trying to get, which is similar to the audience they're targeting, can help you see the kind of content they love consuming. And through that, you can know how to better craft that content so that they can be able to actually engage you and grow your brand as a team, as a community. Evolve your brand identity by updating your logo. But I know this is one thing I usually say, don't just update for the sake of updating. I've seen one of the major mainstream media platform, not platform, brand, update the colors, and then I was like, no, I'm used to the other. But if they change the brand, how is it affecting the way I still feel about them? Maybe I've changed from the way I see them. I'm like, I'm used to the other colors, which I really loved, which were easy for me. Right now, I don't think I'm gonna continue following them. Or maybe they no longer my brand, my brand that I love, my brand that I would like to engage with. So it's very important to also factor in so many things as you think about evolving your brand identity. Update your brand messaging and framework to reflect changes in your brand personality and target audience, and also the change in how people consume content. And this is what actually we were talking about the other day with my team members. Factor in that different regions consume content differently. You can think of a personality of a brand in Kenya, the way they engage with people, the way they use humor, the way they use cocky messaging, and it still works. You think that can work in another country, you only find that people are like, so what? You post something amazing, you think like, I really crafted this thought amazingly, the post is amazing, and then no one clicks, no one converts, no one even engages. So understand the region behaviors of these audiences before you can actually craft that content. That is for those social media managers or people who are thinking of working with brands even beyond the borders. In a nutshell, what I'm saying is brand identity is all about your vision. It's all about your mission. It's all about your language. What do you say? How do you package it? Your tone in that language, your behavior as a brand, your culture, your design, your communication, and your logo. And inside communication, I usually like to factor in your conversation with the community and the collaboration with the right people that you want to identify yourself with as a brand. So, why is developing a strong brand actually important? Recognition. We talked about trust. We talked about loyalty. You want to grow. If you want to grow, awareness is something that you want to do all the time. So, why not do it by actually factoring in ways on how you can craft that brand identity the best? You also establish credibility and trust, and also factor in the emotional connections with your customers, because one value I talked about is community, and in a community there is connection, there is emotional aspect of it. So how are you going to do it? So at the end of the day, we want to compete in this market where we have so many people, so many brands who are offering whatever we are offering, or who are also targeting the same audiences, but we want to position ourselves in a better way so that we can grow and make our content more. If you're looking at this video, when it comes to competitive positioning, I want you to look at this as the target. You know, you need to have a target. You need to have a goal. And whatever that you're going to do, check this guy. Actually, he's carrying his brand. And then this is just like, yes, it's a rocket, but whatever the, how can I put it? The smoke that is coming out of it is actually anything that they have added into this brand here. And the hand is just a sign of help, you know. What are you putting into that brand to fire that brand to growth so that they can be able to get to their target? When it comes to this, you have, you know, first things first, you have to be different. As much as you are so many businesses maybe targeting the same people, you have to be different. Different can be in terms of how you communicate your personality and how you engage with those people, how you price your product, how you talk about the quality, how you talk about the packaging, and how you brand yourself on these platforms. Know your target audience. If you know them, you're knowing the way you're going to craft the content. Do the competitor research. Use that tool for free, the one we talked about on SEMrush. This competitor research tool actually helps you to know what content works for your competitor. You don't have to scroll through their timelines, by the way. You just check from just one single tool that analyzes content, even if you want for the past 6 months, past 3 months, and then you analyze it, you know what content worked for them. Because they have already known how to target their audience and you also want to do that, you can actually like steal some ideas. Okay, steal some ideas. For this particular conversation, for those who won't understand it, I tried to give an example so it can be easier for you to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So you'll take some time to read that and internalize. Your unique value proposition, you know, at the end of the day, what do you want people to actually learn from your brand? You know, do they know your brand? Do they know your products? Do they know the experience? They don't have to have that personal experience with the products or the brand, but first, can you share the experience? So the stories that we share, how can we share our value proposition through them? The messaging, how can we make them interactive, memorable, entertaining, educative, and something else? What's your personality? If you have 3 personalities that define you as a brand, when are you going to bring them out? At what point? Because we have social media is huge. We have different times people want to engage with different people in a different way. The way people engage with brands in the morning is not actually maybe the same way they would like to engage with brands in the evening, or even the way they engage with brands on weekdays is not maybe the way people would like to engage with brands during the weekend. So how can you add the sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, ruggedness, and playfulness of the personalities in different days to your audience? So how are we going to win this? Of course, we are going to use content, but we are going to target people. How? We'll first have to look at the reach, the interest, and then where. And use the analytics, please. If you don't have something to audit on the brand, look at the competitors. What are they doing? How are they doing it? And then you tap into that to craft a better strategy. Already finished that. And then develop your unique proposition. Okay, how do you want to communicate? How do you want to engage with people? How do you want to differentiate yourself with your competitors? Maybe your competitors are very good with text. They engage people a lot with the text. And maybe you've noticed that maybe this audience, the same target audience we are actually trying to reach to, are bored with this text. They might be engaging now, but they need something different. Then you fine tune, you start video content from how you do it behind the scenes, from how you engage with your customers, the photos and all that. Developing your content strategy has to come from the audits that you have done, from your competitor and your target audience. And we're not saying that if you don't have followers on social media, you can't actually research on your target. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot. There are so many reports. There are so many brands which have already done it. So can you tap into some of the reports and surveys that they have? So when it comes to this, align the content with your unique value proposition, and also make sure that this resonates with your audience, factoring in that your analytics are very important. And always be flexible to adjust. You might have a very amazing content piece, but if it's stale, what's the essence of publishing it? Start a new one. Every single, there are brands sometimes, but actually we stopped doing like content for a month because we noticed that the way the audience behaves in that industry, they can feel the stillness of the content and they will leave you with it. So we decided every single day we just wake up and then we do like we have like a short call and then be like, what are we going to talk about today? Because we have already factored checking out what is happening in the different industries. We tap into that and then we create the content. Or maybe we ask, so what happened yesterday in our team? Or is any of our members going out to meet the clients? And then we tap into that. We ask, do you mind sharing us some of the photos, some of the videos that you're going to take on the way or even during the engagement with the client? And if the client is okay with us, yes, they send, and then we share with them on social media. And we now mix the authentic conversations with conversations we have pre-planned. Okay, engage your audience. It's a two-way. That's not something I think that nowadays people should be told. If you're posting and living on your social on the platforms for clients, I'm talking about business pages, you're gonna lose. So take the time as much as you post. Sometimes go, if it's on Twitter, search particular hashtags, search particular keywords, and see the kind of conversations people are having and share. The comment or the opinion might be so obvious, but who said it's wrong to share something that is obvious? At the end of the day, you want to be seen. At the end of the day, you want to be known that you're actually here to engage people. You're not just here to share about your business. So that is how you can minimize from just posting and leaving and waiting for people to share to help you grow. Yet you're not stepping away from the brand content to go and search other content that is relatable and engage. A tip. This is what we usually do as a team. As much as we like creating nice content, we usually like give at least one or two. Actually, every brand we give like one. If it's an intern or already somebody who's working with us, we give them a chance to focus only on finding conversations in other people, maybe thought leaders, or especially thought leaders and communities, and comment. Because that way we actually share our visibility. We are seen more because we are sharing something. And through that, actually, we notice that people are checking us out because people are like, so who are you? And then they click on our profile. So the visibility in terms of the profile increases. The people who feel like they love what they see on our timelines, or they love to see us share some pointers or thoughts later on, they will actually follow us. So that's how we grow. Measure. This is something we have not actually have to be told. Measure. If it's on your, but the best way to grow even your personal brand is to check your growth every single week. Right now, Twitter said that they are going to share their ad revenue. Trust me, I'm going to check my analytics almost every single day. I don't know. Maybe I want money, Bana. Who doesn't want more money? So the strategies you can use in this, of course, is creating shareable content. Organic content, I feel like it's more shareable on social media other than content that is already branded, or it has logos, or it has so many colors for the brand, because people have changed the way they consume content nowadays. And I think TikTok really has something to do with this, because everyone right now, I feel like they can easily create content without even being judged. Your content is not high quality. So long as it communicates, it's very important. So create as more organic content. I usually say that. Create as more organic content as you can. Leverage on user-generated content. Okay, for those who don't know, UGC is content from people. It can be your fans, your customers, or people who basically want to tag you because they like you, they love you. Yeah. Run social media contests. Doesn't have to be about their products. Sometimes it has to be about the people you adore. Ask people to mention people they adore. Ask people to mention people who deserve recognition, as a way of engaging with the audiences. Consistency is key with your tone, the way you identify yourself as a brand, your personality, your experience, and also your tone, your visual elements across your social media platforms, so that this can help you to be able to have a cohesive brand experience. You want people to land on your Twitter and feel like, oh, by the way, this is a brand I saw on Facebook. But of course, try to approach different social media platforms a little bit different, because they have different ways on people engage, and the algorithm doesn't work the same. Monitor your reputation. At the end of the day, if you're looking at a brand growth, monitor the reputation. It's okay sometimes to mess, but it's not okay to just be there doing everything perfect and nobody is even talking about you. I'm not saying that you actually encourage brands to mess, but it's okay. Some crisis, kidogo, is very important, because it helps you to know when and how often should I monitor my reputation, which is very important to help you be able to respond quickly, check on feedback, and also at least encourage positive feedback, because you are there. You help them when they were in need. If there's a problem with one of your customers, collaborate. Social media right now, I feel like brands, if they want to grow, they need to forget a little bit about competition and focus on collaboration. And collaboration, if they can't collaborate with brands, there's so many people on social media who want to grow. So give them the chance to be part of your conversations. Also, give your team members a chance to be seen in other people's conversations. That way they represent your brand, by the way. And that is how you get wider audience. Focus on customer service. So people usually say that this is also a conversation actually we're having. People say that Twitter is not working in other countries, which is okay. But Kenyan Twitter, I think it works a lot because people are always factoring in, what are people saying about this brand? Because we saw a complaint on Facebook, but because we can't follow through what is happening, let's go on Twitter and see if there are more people complaining. And that is how people and brands are factoring in the aspect of doing or giving their best customer service on Twitter. But I'm not saying that's the only place we can do that. Let's do it across the board so we can build our trust and credibility. Advertise. Advertise. If you have the money to put into the ads, please do. If you have the money to put into the PR for influencers, please do. And if you have a chance, and factor in mainstream media is a very good space to help you build a social proof, go for it. But in case you want to learn on how you can actually approach the media, I'm here. Look for me another time so that we can have a conversation on that. So that's it. But you have to check this out in details and have conversation and try to crunch this into a very 44 minutes. That's a lot, but I think I tried. So let's go the conversations. Let me stop sharing the screen first. Wow, so many people are raising their hands. Wow. Let me try. I actually muted everyone, so I will unmute so that it can be easier for people to ask questions in case they want to. But before then, let me check the chat section and see if people are saying something or asking a question. I think most of these are the questions that I've shared. Seredi saying, Catherine is saying, in my opinion, a strong brand is important because it's the first step to creating awareness. Perfect, that's very true. People will look for you by day if you have a strong brand identity. And for the small businesses, maybe this is something I can, a tip that I can share with you. For those who are helping small businesses grow, please help them also grow their personal brands. Share with them tips, At the end of the day, if the owner grows, the brand grows. And if you factor in how people engage audiences on social media, this is what works. People will remember easily the individuals, and they will refer people than they will refer brands, because they don't know who is behind the brand. But when they know who's behind the brand, they can easily tag that person, and that's a win for the brand, because at the end of the day, whatever that they're going to do, it's going to represent the business. And one way or the other, they are going to say, oh, I'm a business person, I do this and this. I said, you already helped him with the social proof of the brand. So I'm opening the queue, especially for those people who are raising their hands. Marceline, please go ahead. Marceline. Okay. Okay. Bonica Gerald, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can hear you, Janet. Can you hear me well?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much for this discussion. I'm learning a lot. I'm very passionate about digital marketing. You happen to talk about something that's very, very vital. That was to do with our community building. Kindly elaborate more on, let's say, a brand is totally new. Uh, it's a new company in the industry. It doesn't have any social media. I mean, the followers, like it's not even present. Kindly elaborate more on how they can, we as social media managers, we can help them create a community around the brand. And because I do have a client, this client has a particular book. It's more into health. I'm curious to know how can that person, the book is a paid tool, it's not a lead magnet, it's a paid tool. But how can I be in position to help that kind of a person? Thank you.
Great. Good question. Because I face that a lot. By the way, I'm huge when it comes to building small businesses, and people have never even thought about having social media platforms. So sometimes, no, sometimes, most times actually, I find myself in that situation where, yes, I've onboarded a client, I have signed a contract, I have opened the social media pages, but I have 0 followers. What do I do? What do I do? So this is what we decided to do a while ago. Yeah, we have been doing this for some time, and actually it has worked for us. So first things first, let's say you are being paid $500 for this particular client. So $500, they're expecting you to do social media management. Of course, you're doing the content, the strategies, and you're doing daily posting. And at the same time, you're looking into growing this brand to actually getting leads and sales from this social media platform or whatever you're doing. So first, look for at least 3 people, 5 people in your team and ask them to follow the brand. It never hurts, by the way, to do that. And after that, as you already have like 5 followers on the platforms, and that is, let's say, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook, we already have 5 likes. So from here, what do I do again? We usually take, I know it might not be a lot of money, especially working with businesses who have never been on social media. They might not pay you a lot of money, but sometimes you have to try and be a little bit selfless. Put aside some money and look for someone who can actually, if you say someone is in, he or she loves doing conversations around health, conversations around finance, conversations around agriculture, and have a conversation with them and request if they can be retweeting, reposting, sharing some of the, if it's a reel, sharing the reel to the stories. You just request them, like, at least I want every single week you do like 5 sharing. I don't want you to post anything. You're not an influencer to post anything for us. I want you just to retweet because you have the audience that we are targeting. And this brand needs to grow. And the audience you have, we need the audience also, some of them to follow us because you talk a lot about health. It means some people are going to follow you, people want to learn about health, and people can also want to either buy some of the solutions, or if you share them, or they are willing to actually refer somebody because that is what they're interested in. So that is one of the strategies that has been working for us. Another strategy is have a specific social media manager whose her work is not just to post. Her work is not to craft the messaging. Her work mainly, I know the other crafting, the content can be done by a team. But if you're one, you need now to go ahead and spare like 15 to 30 minutes. Let's just say if you're looking at 3 social media pages and you're give me a second. If you're looking at least 3 social media pages you're managing, and maybe you don't have a team, at least set 1 hour. Actually, 1 hour is a lot. Set at least 15 to 30 minutes for 3 days a week, where you are not posting. Yes, you have already posted, let's say in the morning, but in the evening hours, you take time and actually do your actual research. Use hashtags, use keywords, search for people that you already know, turn on their notifications, or write their handle somewhere. Every single day, you just click the link, go check out and see what they are sharing, and comment. Comment on their accounts. One thing I love about social media people is that we are curious human beings. We will see a very nice post, but we tend to click the replies because we want to see what are people saying. You know, the same thing as how we watch videos nowadays. We watch videos as we read the comments. So can they actually see some of our comments and be like, wow, you're interesting. Wow, you said something that I would also like to learn more. And then they click on your channel to follow and also to be able to engage with you. That's something else you can try. But if you have a team, dedicate a few people who always actually have access to these accounts. Let them go interact. Let them talk about maybe the services and the products of the brand, because that is one way to actually do the visibility. But it needs a lot of work. But we have managed to build brands out of it, by the way. To right now, some have even 40,000 followers, 40,000 likes, because when you go out, you actually invite people into your community. But when you just stick to what you're doing and then pray and pray, your work is just spray the content and pray people will see it. This idea was amazing. I crafted it perfectly. People will never see you. Yes, they will see it, but they'll be like, okay, next, scroll. Yeah. So can you tap into that? And then maybe something else you can do is engage, ask people questions, and factor in the different industry conversations which are happening, but let them be relevant. I don't really like trend jacking. And this is what so many businesses do on Twitter. And we had a conversation about it last week, where you see a hashtag trending, is not relatable with your brand. It has nothing to do with you. Boom, you share everything about you. I can't judge them, but I feel like that is the wrong way to do it, because people might see you, but people might never actually be part of your community genuinely. I hope that responds to your question, Bonika.
Yeah, sure. It's been very helpful. Maybe you would as well kindly advise which platforms
Mm-hmm.
would you recommend for such a client who is into health? They have a book. Would Instagram, LinkedIn work? Which particular platforms would you recommend for such kind of a client?
What's her target audience? I think that is what we maybe the age of the target audience is very important to know.
Oh, the age is from 25
Mm-hmm.
to around 50.
Okay. So at the end of the day, when it comes to health matters, I feel like people usually love conversations a lot, and people like to find the solutions through people who have already tried. And most of these most of these people, you'll find them sharing genuinely their thoughts and experiences on Facebook groups. They'll be sharing them on maybe Twitter conversations and maybe on LinkedIn and WhatsApp groups a lot. But I'm not saying the other social media platforms are not important. Just know where to actually have the visibility for engagement and where you can actually find the right people. And the right people who are actually looking for these solutions are in the groups. The groups which actually are having people who are having issues who can easily open up to what they are going through. Yeah. So if you can build it on Instagram is still okay, but I feel like Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, and yeah, TikTok nowadays is good for virality because it gives you a chance to also be seen and maybe people to relate with who you are. It's amazing. But at the end of the day, I feel like the individual who is the owner of this book needs to also package herself better so that they can represent the business itself.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mary?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
So I really like the conversation and where it's going because I needed it so much. I've been working on a brand called Growth Catalyst for the last probably 15 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I've not seen much change or any growth because I found the way they do their content and tried adapting to it, but it's still not working. So right now, I feel like I'm in that mess. I'm in like quicksand where I have lots and lots of lifestyle things to present. However, I don't know how to package them in a way that makes sense on both Twitter and Facebook because I realized again that Twitter has a very different and very active demographic compared to Facebook. So now niko hapa tu, I'm wondering how can I help myself and help the brand?
How can you help yourself and help the brand?
And it's a very broad question. Okay, let me narrow it down. Let me narrow it down.
Uh-huh.
So as of now on Twitter, we have 450 follows, and I've been doing content daily for the last 15 months, which means that there's no growth. Yeah. Yet our page is called Growth Catalyst OMG. So, yeah. So one of the most important things I've picked from you is finding the right target audience, and that's what I've been thinking about more. However, I'm still worried about the way I deliver the content itself. Yeah. For instance, when I write about emotional well-being,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard for me to make that funny, and I would really want to.
Yeah. So I think the best thing to do is these are conversations, maybe already some people are having them on their platforms or on their personal accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are representing them as a business.
Yeah.
So sometimes people tend not to chat a lot or converse a lot with brands, but they will go to businesses. Oh, they won't chat a lot with business brands, but they love chatting with people a lot. And that
Okay.
is why on every social media platforms, you realize that individuals tend to have more followers, more engagements than brands.
That's true.
And because these platforms already know that you are a business, they will like actually to push you
Mm-hmm.
to spend money so that they can gain. Because they already know the data. They know you're a business, you're not a person.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do, and this is I think I already talked about it. Step away from your brand's content and find. You can just do yes that every single day you do one post, but most of the time step away from that platform, from that account. Find individuals who actually have similar conversations. Individuals
Mm-hmm.
comment. Be
Okay.
an avid person who comments there, who gives their thoughts, who sometimes disrupts the conversation because you want it to land on you. You want people to see you. You want to be identified. And that is all about community building on social media. Community building is about growing the numbers. It's not just about growing the engagement on your timeline. It's all about also being seen outside where you are comfortable as your brand. You
Okay.
can post amazing content, but if the content is not being spread or it's not being seen or people are not actually knowing who you are, I feel like sometimes it's stupid. It's useless, not stupid.
That's true. That's true. Thank
So
you
we
so much.
step away. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
and find the conversations. Let's comment on those conversations because people are curious. You know, we click the reply section all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when we see a post with shares and likes, people are like, oh, maybe these people bought the likes or these people asked people to like and share. You know,
Yeah.
the same thing that happens on Twitter. People rarely click a lot on a post that has a lot of retweets and likes without the comments. We tend to stay a lot on the comment section for our product, and that is when you know that the moment the algorithm also reads that people are staying a lot on that, they start recommending you, they start giving you more visibility and pushing your content out. So remember this, even the comments you do on other people's pages affect your analytics directly.
Oh,
They do. Let me show you how.
okay.
Sorry, guys, we are past the time, but I will try and be quick. Where are they? I'm actually showing you through Twitter.
Okay.
Just so this is for example my Twitter. This is my tweets. You know, these are the tweets I've been doing from my page. But there are also tweets that I've been doing in terms of replies on other people's posts. They usually come with their own impressions, engagements, and the rates. This adds into my total impressions and activities as Janet Machuka.
Okay.
For example, let me just click on this, looks delicious. This was not even my post. I commented on somebody's post, but I got the engagements at the end of the day. So even for businesses, that is what happens. It doesn't mean that the impressions you get are just from your posts. The other activities you do really matter. And that is why I usually say community building is all about stepping away from your brand, because that is how you know people who are actually interested in what you're doing, and people would like to also come and check you out and say, oh, Mary, what do you do? And that is how we follow people on social media, by the way. We click on their profile first and be like, okay, so you're anafanya nini? Oh, sorry, those who don't understand Swahili. And then you scroll at least 2-3 posts and you'll be like, wow, I like this person. I'd like to see her or his content more often. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Before Seredi, Catherine, are you here?
I'm here. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And I hope everyone else.
Okay, I wanted to ask, like, when you're trying to rebrand your brand, like, do you think like it's a risky move where you try to change the name of your brand into something that you feel like it's more appealing, not just the colors, the outlook, when you try and go with a new name?
It's okay. I'll say it's very okay, because at the end of the day, nowadays, if you're looking at from the social media and even how people are consuming and changing their behaviors, people are relating more with the personality, the way they are treated, the way you make them feel, not just about the brand name itself. There's a brand we've been working with for the past 4 years, and then in 2021, yeah, I think we changed our name. They have been having the name since 2013, and then they changed the name in 2021. Actually, then I was also ish about it, but we actually noticed that it really didn't affect us in a bad way. As much as we didn't go to the media, we didn't do anything huge, we didn't do any billboard or any ads. What we did is we actually now focused on now telling our stories and how we used to do our things and why actually we changed, and now factored in more BTS, that is behind the scenes, on what we offer. We focused more on the way the team feels and how they have adapted. And also we did a few videos and photos from how our customers feel about it. And then we noticed at the end of the day, it's all about the service. So it's okay. If you feel like changing, it's fine. It's totally okay. But at the end of the day is, how do you relate with people? How do you make them feel? How do you make them feel like you're not ignoring their needs and what they expect from you as a brand?
Okay, thank you so much, Janet. I've been learning a lot from this platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Tell them about me wherever wherever you go.
Okay, I will definitely. Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye. Anne, hi. Anne.
Yeah,
And Kabi Mwega, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Janet and everyone. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for the insights, the teachings. I also learn a lot as well. I have a question. There's at some point you said that we join lives and all those things from our, or I'm a social media manager, from our clients' pages. So, for example, I have a client who has a hotel. Is it okay if I comment on our competitors' posts on maybe on Instagram, because we are mostly on Instagram and Facebook? Is it okay if I comment on our competitors' post, or that will be seen as I am really interested in how it will come
Yeah.
out. That's for sure. Yeah.
On that one, I think that is why I keep on saying, please look for individuals. Don't look for the brands. For the brands, the only way you can actually engage them is if they are doing a live or they are doing a Twitter space or something that is happening there. And then, but when it comes to leaving your comment on their platform, I think maybe they might remove it. Instagram allows that. People can delete comments. So the best way to do is build it on the people who love sharing about food. You know, they might have tagged at different restaurants, but also engaging with them and then telling them about a dish you love from that restaurant is amazing. I think that is the best way we can approach it and avoid the conflicts.
Okay. It's okay. So I do that from the accounts, from the client's account.
Yeah, you can
Comment
do
on
that
this
on the
information.
client account, but you do the comments on people, especially people love
Oh.
talking about food, people love sharing things about food, and people love visiting restaurants. I think
Oh,
that is
like influencers also.
yeah. It can be influencers, it can be people who are content creators, but I feel nowadays everyone is a content creator on social media. It's very hard to differentiate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's the best approach. But on the competitor, just only join the lives if there's any live, or if that is a live where you can be able to engage with other people, and regardless of the fact that you're in the same business.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Another person, Adeboye Bolawole. Wow, it's a very nice name.
Yeah.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes. Okay. So I'm Adibuli from Nigeria. Okay. So I actually have a question focused on Instagram actually. So I'm privileged to handle a company's account, and the company deals with gas. Now they don't want to humanize their things. Now I understand that Instagram, when you humanize things on Instagram, it attracts engagement, impressions, and also. So, but this company doesn't want to humanize the thing. They feel maybe putting maybe their faces out or their past faces out or something. Because I recommended maybe a video of in the office saying put it on Instagram just to humanize the people to see that there are people in the company, but they said it's a threat to the company or something like that. So, what do you think I can do aside humanizing the people that would get engagement and get people to notice that company? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You can see.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry. I was asking, what does the business deal with?
It's a gas company. Gas company. That's
Is
cooking
that
gas
what?
supply. Oh, it's gas company. Cooking gas.
I can't really hear you clearly. Anybody else who can hear him clear, kindly chat, as in send a chat. Which company? Cooking.
Yes.
Oh, it's cooking gas.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Now I think now I know how to approach that. I have a friend of mine who also does such a business that deals with cooking gas and all that. And sometimes it's very hard to actually like ask people to be the face of a brand, or even ask clients or customers to share testimonials on about the cooking gas. So the best way to approach it is, I think humanizing a brand is not just about showing the face of a person, it's also showing some bits of a person. It can be the legs, it can be the hands, you know, it doesn't have to be the face of a person if you're looking at creating reels. But at the end of the day, what I feel you need to talk about is other benefits that why actually people even having the gas in the first place. I know sometimes we tend to focus more on the business or the product, the service itself, and then we forget other things we can have conversations about. So by humanizing them, I think the other thing we can do is empowering people, maybe conversations around clean energy, if that has to be an idea. And something else about sustainability, there's also another factor you can actually tap into. So you can try and have different posts, different how they're called, carousel posts around that. Doesn't have to be about the products all the time, but if they are now a bit comfortable to show the human aspect without showing the face, but you assure them that you just need the to show the way people maybe, how is it called, request for the gas, how do they order the gas and get it at their doorstep, or even they get delivered to them. It does just have to be about that. It doesn't have to have the face of a person, because I think one major problem people have when it comes to such is, what if this person has a bad reputation in the future? What if something happens? What if somebody doesn't actually represent our values as a brand? Cut off the head. Oh, sorry, don't do that. Please, like, try to not show the face of the person, but try to show the hands and other things. That didn't come out so good, by the way. You guys, you should not, don't tell people about me when it comes to some of the things I say. Okay, I hope that helps.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, find other conversations you can bring into, and then try to tap into the different community or community conversations, social conversations that people can champion, or the company can champion in that industry. So let me see. Jomo, hi, finally. I saw you were one of the first people who actually joined the conversation.
Hello, sorry. Janet, how are you? And my colleagues here. I was the first person because 2 times I've been locked out.
I'm sorry about that.
Apart from last week when you confirmed that you weren't available. Otherwise, you have given us a very apt presentation. From what you have told us today, it looks like building a brand requires multifaceted effort, because whatever I've looked and whatever you have trained through, I see use of, for example, when you want to testimonials. I've seen you a number of times in the field. You're out there talking to people and take a selfie, and of course people can easily associate with you, and they bring that human perspective that you have mentioned. So that is one thing that I've observed as we try to build a brand, and because once people see you walking and talking, then they believe this is a human being. Sometimes we sit behind the phone, we tweet, we send a lot of posts, but there's somebody can assume that this is a robot typing on a daily basis. I think the human nature of moving out, having these pics, certain places which people can familiarize with. For example, if Janet, you were at Uhuru Park and you tweet and somebody was there, maybe on a Saturday, somebody could imagine, if I could have moved to this side, I could have met Janet. So that is what I've observed. I only want to ask a question: how long? Because when I look at the history, you started around 2013 to, you'll correct me. So how long can you take to build a brand? Because if you bring all these things, cannot happen in a week, I'm sure. Thank you.
True. True. Actually, I started building a brand in 2017 November. And I think I started building the brand then because I got a verification on Twitter. I didn't know what to do with it. Then I was from the media space because I'm a journalist. And I know most of the people might not know what I did in campus. I did media science. So when I got from out from the media, I think I did my internship when I was in my first year. So it's very easy for me to understand the space and at least a lot of you about digital. And that is when I was like, wow, I want to do it. So from the media, being a journalist, actually, I was able to I tried out the verification thing process and then it worked. So that's when I was like, wow, what do I do with this thing? You're like, okay, so I need maybe to package myself as somebody in the digital platforms. I need to learn because I had already started learning different courses on the internet. And so it has been a journey, and every day we learn something new. But one thing that really helped me to grow very fast is I looked for people. First, I searched for people who are in the digital space, and funny thing, most of them were from, of course, Western world of Africa. And then you find that most of them, the lists on content marketers, digital marketers, and all that, are people you have never interacted with, but are people who have now that authority on the digital platforms. I joined their spaces. I joined their conversations. I tried actually to make sure that I'm seen. I joined their community conversation. Then we used to do tweet chats a lot, by the way. The aspect of being present all the time actually made some of them to identifying me as someone from African side who can give them an overview or insights about what we do. And that is actually how they picked me up. Sometimes I could get now chances to have conversations with them, to have conferences, webinars, and also to share industry thoughts around different things that are also representing, especially social media marketing and community building. And that is something I started immediately. I got verification because I was like, maybe it's my time to create a community where we can learn and where I can learn and also tap into the different networks people have. So right now, I know it might be, that is something that might not work for people because we already have so many communities. So this is what I usually tell people. If you have noticed someone who can actually give you that opportunity to grow, look for that person. Request for opportunities from them. I'm not talking about opportunities to find businesses, to have clients, to make money. Opportunities where you can be able to represent yourself as a personal brand. Opportunity is where you can be able to tap into different audiences or maybe some of their audiences. The reason why I think if you check Africa Tweet Chat, which are conversations we do every Wednesday, there are particular individuals, you see them there all the time, throughout. They never actually stop joining those conversations every Wednesday because they have tapped into something called we are here as a community. I will represent you. When you need me, I'll be here to talk about it. And that is how people know them. Take an example of, for example, the likes of Iglin. Yes, last time we had a conversation on Niateg. I don't know if some of you joined. This guy was saying that he has been on Africa Church for 5 years. Do you know what has grown us? Is the aspect of, I know you, you know me. You have told me you need a chance to be featured somewhere. You have told me you need a chance to be featured in terms of a conversation as a speaker. We give you. You don't have to have 50,000 followers to be a speaker. So most of the times we usually let people request. Can you request for opportunities for yourself, especially if you want to grow your personal brand in an area you have noticed that this is my area, or I want to be a social media marketer, I want to be a trainer. Request for opportunities. No one will always say no. No one will actually say no if you ask to represent a specific conversation. And the moment you are seen, people would like to tap into you. They're like, okay, let me go and search. Who are you? What do you do? And they will follow you. There are people who have gained that through the communities. I love doing webinars. I love doing podcasts. And that is how I grow. Because every time I do a podcast, I find new people. Every time I do something new, I find new people. I did a course with SEMrush recently. There are so many people who followed me on LinkedIn, and I was like, how did these people find me? And then later on, I noticed SEMrush actually, when you share the course, it gives the people who are sharing my links to my social media platforms. So that way they can talk about me and I get the visibility. So look for chances where you can be seen and grow yourself. It's not just about the monetary value. Sometimes you have to look at the other value that you can gain. And that is something that I had to balance since 2018, when I had already now started figuring out when am I supposed to ask for money and when I'm supposed to ask for, not when I'm not supposed to ask for anything. There are so many conversations I've done for free, and people will ask me, why are you not even charging this? I know why. Because I know what those conversations do. I know what they do in terms of people remembering me and people recognize and even sharing opportunities with me. There are so many people who have sent me referrals and I gain money through it and they never care because I help them just one session. So take your time, help people, find opportunities for yourself. Personal branding doesn't have to be you putting money into it to grow. It has to be you actually being willing to help people and being willing to be featured somewhere. By the way, if you're a Kenyan and you have something unique and you like to be featured on the newspaper, please look for me. Everyone has my WhatsApp number. You can look for me. Just tell me what you like to be featured on, and then we can work around that. Let me see if we have a question. How do I do it? Oh, somebody, Winfred McKenna, the Kenyan market is different from the international. True. We are open to showing up for our brands. Now, I work with a travel agent from the US who is so much against showing up on her business pages. She doesn't even want to post her brand on her own Facebook profile because she says she's afraid of her employer. That is okay. I have actually some business client who actually is not okay sharing the business, like this is my business or this is my brand, because some of the clients, they sign up for the contracts. It says clearly, don't do any other business aside. As much as it's your business, don't represent it. You are only going to represent us, which is okay. She's also so much into colors and fonts, and yet I feel the travel business, you have to show up. How do you advise such a client to grow the brand? You need to show up. Yes, you need to show up in terms of the experience. So the experience doesn't have to be the experience from the owner, but it can be the experience of these people who are going to the travel. One thing I know about people, when they're having fun, they'll always be open to actually let you take the videos, take the photos. Because at the end of the day, it's just fun. It's just the experience they're having, which they love. And if we can package this experience and these photos and put them in a certain content tank where we usually use them once in a while, there's no harm in that. So I think you need to change the strategy on how you approach the client in terms of if she's not okay showing up for a business, it's totally fine. Now change the strategy to these people we are taking out for the experience. Are they comfortable? If that is not enough, can we find a different strategy? We can say like, we create a package for the people who go all out. They have fun. They love sharing photos. They love sharing videos. Take them for a tour and take that chance to create the content. Especially nowadays, I feel like the younger generation has really changed as the way we approach brands and the way we approach conversations on digital, from just posting to experience. So how can we tap into the experience from the people we are taking to the travels? And that is something I've seen so many business people right now who are doing travel. You find somebody just started the other day, but they get so many people because they share the experience. When they go, they have a team who are responsible for taking them photos, editing the photos, taking them videos, and then they share with them later because they love that experience and how you actually give them a value addition of even the photos. They will share about it on social media, and I feel like that is the easiest way to actually create content from the travel and tours. Let's learn from how people just share the experience, because travel is all about the experience. You're not going to show me an experience in a poster and then I believe. if it doesn't have a photo of somebody I can relate to, especially with maybe a Kenyan, maybe somebody maybe a Kenyan or maybe an African. I know getting photos from free tools is okay, but I feel like sometimes nowadays people know. People feel when they know, when they see a photo which is not somebody authentic from that locality, they know. So how can we tap into creating content? One thing that I usually do with businesses, and that's something maybe you can check with this client. Let me see if I can share the link. Now, this is one actually of our longest client, one of our longest client. Let me see. Yeah, I've sent it in the chat. What we do is every time we want to go to the field, maybe to the farm, we are always armed with like a video, with a camera to go and take as many photos as possible. And then you, of course, let them know that you're going to take the photos, you're going to use them for your social media, and let them be okay with that. And if they're not okay with that, please don't take. But if they're okay with that, please take the photos as you can. So we have a content tank of content from 2016. Like anybody, as much as I can quit the job anytime and then leave it to another person, they will continue. Because we already crafted this amazing content and where we have edited videos, edited photos, raw videos, so that in case you want to use them, repurpose them, share the experience, tell the story, share it. That way it makes the content more organic and easy to adapt instead of always going to Canva to create posters. So we rarely create posters. Our posters is 0.01% out of them. We just share our photos, we share our videos, we share our stories in that manner. Let me see if there is another question. Mary Wairimu, when you make more than 2 posts a day on your business account, you start spam posting. Is there a way to highlight key activities in 1 or 2 posts? This is a comment for Sarah. Maybe I'll take you to an example of the link I've sent to the brand. It really helps you at least to know how to balance the content. I know we are supposed to sell from the products we provide as a business, but the way we do the content, sometimes you at least make people a little bit forget and then start engaging with you. And by the time they start forgetting, then again, you return the business on what you represent. But one thing I've noticed about social media people, the moment you give them the value, as much as you're not talking about the product, they will actually notice you. They will go ahead and do more research about you if they like you and love how you package your content, how you teach them. For example, let's say I was selling a greenhouse for a business. I wouldn't be talking about greenhouses every single day. Maybe someday I'll just teach them on how, on the different vegetables to grow in a greenhouse, you know. Maybe another day I'll be like, let's talk about the environment. Let's talk about the sustainability approach. Let's talk about agriculture. Let's talk about how mental health affects the farmers, you know. The way you maneuver through the different conversations will bring different audiences at the same time to your core, which is, can people click and see what actually we provide in the business? Now, make good use of that bio space, make good use of that link space, and make good use of that fast photo. If it's on Twitter, you can pin it. On LinkedIn page, you can pin it. On Facebook, you can pin it. And even on Instagram, you can pin posts. Can that also be an additional way to represent your business in terms of these are our products, these are our services? I hope that helps. Stella Nganga, Janet, how do you grow a corporate brand that has a boring business? Why are you saying that? That is a boring business that doesn't quite want to be personable in their content. They said company offers services, not a product. They said company offers services. Oh, okay, that's just an Airbnb. That's okay. Especially the ones in the finance space, they have boring content, by the way. But one thing I usually say, if the content is boring, and they don't want to change, make it as boring as they want until they realize there's something that we need to do. That is the best way to now focus on other things and activities this brand does. You can't tell me there's a brand which is not even factoring CSR activities, a brand that is actually attending events, a brand whose CEO is featured on a newspaper, has gone to represent the brand in a radio station, whose employers are going somewhere for a workshop to be trained. That's content for you, by the way. That's content. So don't just focus on the product. Sometimes focus on other activities the brand involves themselves in. Even if you saw their, oh, by the way, this is something else we do. I'm sharing so many secrets, but hope this will help you, by the way. Every time one of our clients is going for an exhibition and their logo is somewhere, even if their logo is not there and they're going to exhibit, hey, by the way, that's the best chance for us to go and create content. We go and do videos and do reels. We're going to take photos. We're going to showcase people. These are the people who came to our stand. And that is our content. We go edit, store it somewhere. When we will be talking about exhibitions and why brands should go to exhibitions, Buana, we have our own photo. We have our own video. Wow, that's the best way. You know? I hope that works for you. Maybe that's what we usually do. Every time we see a chance, we have a chance for content, which works amazingly well. Mary, let me see if we have. If we don't have another question, we can go on, and we have really taken 1 hour 30 minutes. But I hope this was worth it. Do you advise one to do more retweets than just tweeting on your personal account? Please enjoy yourself. But at the end of the day, I feel like you can do so many retweets, but they don't help. So focus on the conversation. Add your voice. Who are you? What are you doing? How would you like people to know you? What do you want people to read your thoughts also? So share your content, share your comment. Even if you're doing a retweet, if you check my timeline, I love doing a retweet with a quote retweet here. The reason I do that, even on my LinkedIn, I do that a lot. I quote retweet because I want to share my thoughts. Because I'm interested in this, I'll share my thoughts. Even if I will say, this is a good job, congratulations, I will do it. That's me. So it's okay to do retweets as many as you want, but balance. You don't want people to try and check out on who you are and then find retweets from other people. People don't scroll past first scroll, second scroll. By the third scroll, they're tired, they're done with you, they've gone to another thing. So something else, let me see. Oh, also, we have gotten 400 new followers on Twitter since February. It's a good growth. Yeah, it's okay. Followers, by there is one way of knowing that people care what you're sharing. No, maybe your problem will be, can I create strategies to make these people share my content and be active with my audience? Let me see, is there such thing as overposting? I work for an NGO and we have so many accidents. I say I'm always updating what is going on. Is there? No. For NGO, I usually feel like you have to post a lot, especially if you have an event. There's a lot of live tweeting, live posting. So please go ahead and post. But at least know a limit. You don't have to post something twice, thrice. The Kenyan market, I think we have already talked about that. No. In my opinion, a strong brand, I think we are done. But in case you have a question, please look for me on WhatsApp or even on my DM. Can we have a PPT of a downloadable PPT presentation without needing to click? Okay. All right. Yeah, I will try and share. But most of the time, I usually try not to, but I'll try and share it. I'll download and share it. But for you guys, I'll share it. No problem. So I will be sending it to the resources. WhatsApp. Yeah. Great. Anybody else who want to say something before by the way we can close? We have taken 1 hour. Anybody? Okay. I think now everyone is okay and I'm also okay. I'm happy that this went well. Let me just now go back to the kitchen and cook for my people before the Saturday ends. Okay. Have a nice night, guys, and see you next week. I'll send you this audio, this recording once they have prepared and sent it to my drive. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you. Now, I'm leaving the call, guys. Oh, I need to stop the recording first.
Bye, guys.